Looking to find harmony and work-life balance? Join Coach Annajo as she shares practical strategies, empowering mindsets, and inspiring stories to live the life you want to lead on AnnaJoTalks Work Life for Badasses. Now, here's your host, Coach Annajo.
Welcome everyone to another episode of AnnaJoTalks Work Life for Badasses. I'm Coach Annajo, and I'm here to challenge the myth of balance and find real harmony in modern life. Today, I'm introducing one amazing woman, mom, entrepreneur, wife, friend, coach, a true badass with us, with amazing stories to share with you. I'm your host, Coach Annajo, and my guest is Susan Vernicek. Here we are. Let's go. Hi, Susan. How are you?
Hi, Coach. I am doing well. Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to be part of this.
So good. But before we go and dive in and ask you, who are you, and you share more about you, let me introduce who's Susan Vernicek here today at AnnaJoTalks Work Life for Badasses. And I'm reading so you know better who is Susan Vernicek. Susan Vernicek is a dedicated multiple income streams coach. She specializes in empowering mompreneurs to unlock the potential of diverse incomes. Whether you're just starting or looking to scale, she provides a tailored strategies to help you build and sustain multiple revenue streams, all while balancing the demands of motherhood. With Susan's guidance, you'll learn how to maximize your earnings, create passive income, and achieve financial independence. But there's more. Susan Vernicek helps you to define and achieve more balance and momentum you experience piecing together your mom life and biz life. She helps to get out of the guilt and comparison, embrace the chaos, and stop surviving on an autopilot so you can become a confident woman, conscious mother, and a badass business owner. Beyond being a badass coach, Susan is a mom of a 10-year-old twins, a wife who lives in Poconos, PA here in US, and is the author of 3 books, 6-figure speaker, and she's known for a contagious energy and motivator. So how about that? Here today with Work Life for Badasses with Coach Annajo, 2 badasses with so full of energy. Right, Susan? Isn't
like that? Oh my God. I just say, when you're reading, like, my energy is contagious, I'm told, but your energy is way more contagious. So the 2 of us together, I'm nervous for who's listening, because their bodies are going to be shaken by the vibration that you and I project.
It will be amazing. So welcome everyone. Here's Susan Vernicek. But after I'm reading here more detail about your bio, what would you like to share more with our listeners, Susan?
I mean, again, thank you for having me. And that's my bio, right? I mean, it's long. That's everything though. And really who I am, I think at the core, I'm a mom of 10-year-old twins, and I thrive on helping others achieve. I thrive on helping them shift their mindset and their beliefs, their optimism, and their perceptions of what's available to them. And I think that's why you and I really get along, because we both thrive on that. And we are walking the talk. And I think that is why others love working with us as well, because we are walking the talk and we are bringing people along as we are doing it. And that's raw and real. And we bring the energy as well.
Yes, I know. When I met you, like, oh my God, someone with a high energy like me. And, I was following you, and you were like doing these workouts every day in the morning, like, oh boy, this is true. So Susan, I'm very curious. So what makes you a badass? Both at work in life?
I love this question, because I used to shy away from being badass, right? And I used to actually say I'm just an ordinary woman. And you know what? That's BS, because nobody is ordinary. We
Yeah.
really all have a badass version. Whether we leverage it or lean into it, that's a little bit of a different story. And I'm really proud that over the years, I've done the work. I've unraveled the limiting beliefs. I've hired and invested in coaches and programs to unleash the badass more and more and more. And I think really what it is, and I know that you agree on this because this is what you preach as well, is the decision-making skill to do what you want to do, to execute and create, define and create the life personally and professionally that you want to live. That takes courage. It takes confidence. It takes boundaries. It takes decision-making. And I think that those are just a few of the characteristics and personalities you need to be a badass.
I love it. So tell me more about like how, because, I feel, I truly agree first, like you guys, you're listening. Yes. See, courage, confidence and making a decision. So, but out there, we kind of agree, right? But then doing it, like you say, so what kind of things that you have in your toolbox really to make that decision and have the courage to take the step to do the things that you feel is right for you, even if it's risky, right? So even if it's not like easy.
It's not. And I mean, there are many layers to that, to actually taking the action. For a few key awarenesses to have is that you have to share what you want with other people, with somebody who's in your corner to help you, to support you. Okay. We do not achieve alone. Think about everything in your life. You did not get to where you are. Wherever you are, you did not get there alone. You had some kind of help along the way. And I think that is a very important factor in going after what you want, because I know that manifesting, getting the things you want, creating the things you want, executing the things you want, you have to speak about that. You have to talk about it. You have to envision about it and bring people along while you're creating it to take that action, because it does inject a level of accountability. Now, most people, that's the big hump. And that's where coaches come in handy, because we're scared to actually say what we want because we're afraid to ask for the support, or we're afraid to make the commitment because we're afraid we're going to fail. Yeah. And so that's a conversation with oneself, because at some point you have to get through that hump. And a lot of times that's where mentorships, books, podcast, coaches, programs help you, because you're not alone. But the other very important factors that come to being a badass and taking action is the trust in yourself, that you're going to have your own back, and that no matter what decision you make, you'll make the next decision to figure out the next step. Oh. So I think that is also really empowering. People don't trust themselves. And so we have this uncertainty, which is so human and really normal. And honestly, I think every action taker, I think every leader, we have uncertainty. We just have that deep courage, that accountability to help hold our hand through the action. Like podcasts, this is a big, bold, courageous move. And everybody who starts a podcast, you don't know where it's going to lead you. It's uncertain, but there's so many possibilities. Yeah. And so I think those are that's not everything, but that is a few things, is that trust in yourself, right? Asking for that help, for that accountability, for that your A team, I call it, to help you get through it and to help you stay accountable to what you verbalize and what you want.
I love that. For one hand, it's just like find your tribe. And then other hand, it's just like really trust yourself, right? And the two components, like the confidence.
Tribe and trust. Tribe and
Yes,
trust.
I love it. Try and trust. You
Yes.
guys listen this right now. Oh my God, amazing. So, but tell us more about like an example in your life that where you apply these and you got so proud of yourselves, like, and you felt, I am a badass, right? So tell
Yeah.
us
Oh
like
my gosh. Okay. So many times over and over. I mean, it's been 18 years since I've started. So there are so many scenarios. So I'm going to share with you uh the two most recent, a personal and a professional. Okay. Personally, for 10 years, I have lived in the Poconos for 12 years. And I will say that it wasn't until the 10-year mark that I actually felt and embraced this as home. I
Oh,
had
okay.
resistance. I worked so hard on my A game, on my formula and my approach and everything that I needed to be grounded to make this feel home, to change my mindset, to shift. And there was just a really hard resistance in getting back to New Jersey. But once I got over that hump with patience and showing up every day, like questioning that resistance and being solution mindset to discovering that this is my home and seeing the beauty in the Poconos and how it was underneath my nose the whole time. I worked on that, and it then became my home, which then led to this. I've always wanted to build my dream home. So it's interesting, right? The two. It was like I wanted to find a home. I wanted to feel at home. And I was working on that feeling. And then I did. I found it in the past 2 years. A lot of things, moving pieces really created. And I was like, oh my God, this is the feeling. This is what I was looking for. I feel home. And I've really detached. I have no desire to move back to New Jersey. Maybe a little bit because my sister's in New Jersey, but majority, this is my home. I love the mountains. I love snowboarding. I like hiking. We love the river. It's beautiful. We golf. It's beautiful. And now I've had the dream of building my own dream home. And that takes courage with the finances part, the managing your money, looking at your business. Are you meeting those goals? Are you profitable? How are you going to do this? There's so many layers, but I started by verbalizing it to my husband. And I was very passionate and I shared my passion and I asked him if he was like, is this something that he can see happening? And is this of interest to him? Right? Because we have to bring our close circle in to make sure our dreams align, right? And so I started to do that. And he didn't know how that was going to happen. I said, we don't have to know how right now. And this was years ago. We just have to work towards it. And you know this, Coach, right? I'm in the process of making that happen. We're looking for land. We had found land that fell through. We actually found our builder. We got it designed. We made some changes. We have the house that we want. We have the layout that we want. We have the budget that we want. And now we're back. The land fell through. We're back at the drawing board and I'm not giving up hope, right? And that's it. That's a personal example of it happening, but patience was behind that.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Patience. So that was the personal example. The professional example, and you were part of it, was I had this vision and I had this dream, and I didn't think that I could do it on my own, even though I've created so much in my career and I've executed. I have a lot of things that fail and I had a lot of things that succeeded. But this, I was scared. I felt like I didn't have the community or wasn't big enough or known enough to actually fill the spots. And this was the Audacity to Speak Summit. I had this vision.
Yes.
I created it. I outlined it. I had all the pieces in place, but I thought I needed something else to help me fill it and to execute it.
Yes.
And I was presented with a choice in my life, a hard decision, but a growth decision in that moment. And I won't get into the details, but I had a coach who said, you're scared because you think you can't do it on your own. And she reminded me, she goes, yes. I was like, yes, that's it. I feel like I can't. And she gave me permission to fail too, right? Like, but you won't know unless you try. And so I got very clear again on that goal. I worked on the specific actions. She held me accountable. I told all my close people about it. I got really excited about it. I shared about what I was working on before I was ready to open the door. And I had a lineup of people who are already ready. So when it was ready, I filled it within a week and a half, the spots for the Audacity to Speak Summit. And I did it. And this was the first event. I've put on many retreats and conferences, but this was the first that I was profitable off the bat. I donated to charity at the same time. I helped small business entrepreneurs with a vision to get on stage, to speak, to execute. I paid other people, so I empowered other female business owners. And it was the most rewarding event that I have ever put on. It was small, it was intimate, and it was everything that I put out that I wanted, from the community inside, like the sisterhood that was built leading up to us all getting on stage, the support. It was everything. But again, it took vision, it took vocalizing it, it took accountability, and bringing fear along with me because I was scared.
Yeah. And it was amazing because I was part of that lineup.
You
I was
were.
part of that 12 amazing speakers. And I can tell to everyone because it was an amazing experience that someone was participating. And I could say that you were truly a badass leader there during
Oh,
this
thank you.
Audacity to Speak. It was absolutely amazing. So,
It
but
was.
so what we are hearing is like those is recent, like these are really
Those
recent.
are the most recent.
Wow, right? So it's like
Yeah.
achievements, really, it's amazing, like building a dream house, right? So,
Yeah.
and putting out there first with your husband, starting to kind of evolving the dream, even if it doesn't have a shape, right? Because I feel that
Yes.
so many times we kind of feel lost when we say we don't know what I want in the future, and we stay this area of the space of losing ourselves. But actually,
Mhm.
some if we take advantage, right? Like you say, come along with your fear, accept this phase and the messy middle where you don't know,
Yes.
but you start to communicate. The vision start to elaborate, right? So, do you
Mhm.
agree with that? I think those
I
both
do.
examples. I didn't know
Yes.
about this the speaking the speaking event that you did because I was participating, that you had that fear because I
Yeah.
saw you there as a badass. Okay, so you were truly a badass
Thank
leader
you.
there.
I
In
had fear. It was hanging
leading.
out. It was following me like the shadow. It
I
was.
loved it because you truly did so well, right? And you led a great event. So this is really amazing that you're sharing these, because for instance, I know you, we're friends, we are in the world. So, and I did know that. So it's so amazing, like really showing up and kind of having this dream and shaping, even if it's not really clear, but
Yeah.
accept this uncertainty, like you said, right? You said, and
Yes.
then building on the time, and then come along with the fear. So it's around
Yes.
there, accept that comes along. So is
Yeah.
it what you define, like those two moments, like uncertainty but I would like
I
to explore more this part because I feel this is very common
Well, here's something
on the
that you
losing.
talk about. So definitely you have to accept and embrace uncertainty to
Okay,
release the
yes.
resistance. And that's part of like my A game formula that I
Yes.
teach. In any aspect of your life, you need to have full acceptance. Acceptance doesn't mean settling. It means embracing, acknowledging, owning, stepping into with power and letting go of the resistance, saying, bye-bye, resistance. I'm leaning in. I'm going to make decisions. And this is the part, right? Like you're saying, accept uncertainty. Yes. But while while we're showing up in like the messy middle, we're making decisions, and you teach
Mhm.
on this, right? And I teach on this too, but you really lean in on decision making. And when we are skilled, and it's a skill to develop to make decisions, it is less weight and unnecessary energy that keeps you in uncertainty without movement. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yeah.
Right. So when we accept and embrace uncertainty, but when you have your tribe and you have your trust and you have your coaches and your mentors or your programs, and you're like, okay, I don't know the outcome, but I'm going to start making the decisions that I want that's going to help me move towards piecing this messiness
Yes.
together, right?
Yes.
Getting the shape together.
I love that.
That is what gets you there. But decisions, some people will not make decisions, and not making a decision is a decision to hang out with uncertainty and hang out with resistance and be stuck in the mud.
I love it. I love it. Not making a decision is a decision.
Yeah.
For not making a decision.
Right.
I love it. You guys, all listeners here from Work Life of Badasses, take these notes. You guys, like, not making a decision is a decision. Wow, I love it.
It's a heavy decision. And you know why, right? Because when you don't make the decision, it nags you like an old ex-boyfriend that you dumped that wants you back. It's like right there, right? And so it's heavy, it's annoying, it's frustrating, and it will come back and haunt you.
Yes.
Right? It's a lesson that it's like, when are you going to learn to make the decision on this?
Yes. And why are you surprised that this come back again, right?
Yeah.
So if you did make a decision before, right? So, oh my God, so interesting. All right. So another question that perhaps interests all our listeners is being the badass, right? So, but sometimes life takes a leap and we don't have control about our circumstances, right? So would you share with us one time that the things didn't go on your way, but you make the leap of faith and you decide and you act on as being a badass, even if you're not aware of that. Sometimes you're not aware that you make those decisions in those situations.
Oh, yes. I mean, there are a ton of things that haven't gone my way. I've launched a ton of programs that haven't worked out, that I didn't show up enough or accurately. There are programs with my online magazine that failed, that didn't go. There are organizations that I've tried to be part of on a next level that didn't work out. There are, there's several things along the way that have not worked out. But here's the badass piece, is that you get back up, right? Are you going to get back up, or are you going to stay knocked down?
Yeah.
Right? Because being a badass means, okay, this happened. This is kind of where acceptance comes in, not settling where you give up and throw your hands up, but it's like, okay, that didn't work out the way that I really wanted it to work out. And I'm going to pivot, or I'm going to adjust. And what can I do? What do I need to do differently? How do I maybe need to show up differently? Who do I maybe need to ask for help or different help? Or do I need to Google? But start turning your brain to being curious instead of self-sabotaging and negative Nancy with the negative internal dialogue, right? So the badasses are those who get back up and try again.
Yeah.
Right. Because you will, and I don't even like to say fail. You will, and you hear it, fail forward, or we don't fail. Everything's a learning lesson. But it's all there. You're not going to get everything to the T right. And everything that you want isn't going to show up in the way you are dreaming it to show up. There will be some shifts. There will be some broken pieces along the way, or a quirky puzzle or something, right? But the badass in that moment is, I'm going to get back up and ask myself some better questions, or reframe my brain to be more curious, so that it's pointing in a better, empowering direction or thought process, instead of, well, that sucked, that stunk, I'm stupid, I'm an idiot, that's not going to work, this isn't going to work, I need to go back to doing what I think I'm good at. And that doesn't get you anywhere. So the badasses are those who can fall down and lift themselves back up.
Wow, I love that. Woo! We are here dropping some pieces. Come on here. What? Our listeners will be delighted, to continue here. But I have another question. Okay. And I know you are a mom of a 10-year-old twins. And we have a lot of our listeners are moms as well. Yes. And we want to become these badass moms as well, because we want to thrive in work and life. But talk to us as moms, some moment or tip that you may like to share to be a badass mom.
Yes. Okay. So something that I'm always working on. Okay. I'm in progress, just like all of you, because every season, as soon as you think you have it together as a mom, it changes, right? Like I feel like it's every 2 weeks, something changes. And I feel like I nail my kids' lunches and then they don't like that lunch anymore. And it's like, I can't keep up. So I'm just going to keep being adaptable because that's what we need to be when we're moms, right? But I think what I learned in the first 2 months of being a parent, I did not take care of myself, right? And you know the story. I got Bell's palsy within 8 weeks. Then I had to stop nursing and I had to feed my kids formula because I was on a steroid. Then I injured my back because I wasn't taking care of myself, meaning I wasn't sleeping, I wasn't eating nutritious foods, and I wasn't working out. And double pack and play, double crib, and that took a toll. And I remember falling in the middle of my foyer and with the sharpshooting pain taking to my knees. And that was the moment that I had to reclaim my effort, my awareness, my work into taking care of myself so that I can best take care of my business and my kids and my family. And so from that moment, I reclaimed my responsibility. I reclaimed my awareness. I reclaimed my boundaries. And I got audacious with my boundaries. So I set new work hours, just like I was to go to a 9 to 5. I do not do the laundry and I do not do dishes during the time, right? I work when my kids are napping and after I have taken a nap too. Like you find, and it changes, like the time management changes depending on the ages of your children. But the key was I got very audacious in my boundaries and they were non-negotiable.
Okay.
They were non-negotiable. I was not working during dinner time. I wasn't working when I wasn't working on the couch anymore. Like I had to share with my partner, my husband, Rob, about the boundaries. And I had to practice and implement saying, no, I'm not available at 4 o'clock because I'm nursing my kids. Or no, 4 o'clock, I pick up my kids at school. I can't do it. And those hours, those seasons, those boundaries change because again, our seasons while we're moms, those seasons change quite often.
Yeah.
At least yearly because school times change from preschool to kindergarten, 5th grade to 6th grade to high school, right? So know that's going to happen. But I think that was a very defining, and I know a moment of my life when I got Bell's palsy. I mean, come on, like my immune system shut down. It wasn't Lyme disease. It wasn't shingles. They tested me for everything. It was my immune system was saying, hello, you're falling apart. Take care of yourself.
Oh, wow.
Yes, you're a new mom, but lean into the help. Nap when the twins are napping. You can get a lot more done when you are refreshed and feeling good in an hour each day. And so that was a strong, empowering moment in my life for the boundaries and leaning into having badass boundaries and really owning my roles as a mom, but as a woman, taking care of myself and learning to respect all pieces, your family, yourself, and your business, and respect the time you allot it and how you show up focused during it, knowing that you only have that time because you're going to be present when it's 5 o'clock and you go to be with your family.
Yeah, I love that. And thank you so much for sharing. Thank you.
Yeah.
So I knew the story. I didn't know if you come with that, but I think this is a really, really empowering moment for our listeners to get your example because it was 10 years ago, right? So your twins are now 10,
Yeah.
right? They were babies, right?
Yep.
And the shift, but the courage and how you overcome all that situation and the awareness and how sustainable you got those audacious boundaries. All
Yeah.
right. Can I call us like badass boundaries? You mentioned
Yes.
that. I think I'm gonna steal that because
Steal it. Badass boundaries. Steal it.
badass boundaries, you're
Yes.
right. So all the moms want to be badass moms. Please take care about your badass boundaries because, as you mentioned, are
Yeah.
non-negotiables, right? And this
Yes.
is how you overcome that moment of your life. Oh my God. Thank you, Susan. Thank you so
You're
much. I
welcome.
was going to ask you, like, what is your badass to badass advice, right? To all our listeners. I don't know if you have anything else because you already gave it so much. But tell me, do you have something else that you wanted to drop here today?
Oh my gosh, we hear it. I mean, if people are listening to you, you know that they're already advanced in their mindset, right? They're already itching for growth. They're searching for it. So congratulations, you're already being a badass. You're already doing it, right? And I think the reminder that I know we often hear, I know I continuously hear it, and so I'm going to share it with you and pay it forward and share the same message is I think the underlying thing that holds us back mostly is fear of judgment from other people. And truly, when you lean into your badass, you let go of that fear of judgment from other people. Show up being your best self. Choose you because everybody will benefit from it. And there will be people who judge you, but they don't matter because they are not leaning into their badass self. And so I think if we can all remind people and you're going to embrace it, and it's going to hit each and every one of your listeners differently and maybe by somebody else. But I think if all of us in this industry continue to remind you to let go of the judgment of what other people are going to think when you choose to do the things that you want to do within your personal and professional life, like let that go. And we're just so much more freer when we give that up. Unfortunately, sometimes it takes us all way too long. But the more and more we just keep saying it over and over, hopefully it will hit you. And you're like, you know what? You're right. It's my life. It's my close family, my circle. It's my career. I get to define it, and I'm going to live it because I have one life to live and to have fun, to have joy, to have impact, and to be my best version, your badass self. So I leave you with that. I mean,
I love it.
right, if I think you
Yes,
would agree with that.
I fully agree. And thank you so much. I think, so much good stuff here today at this episode. And I want to share, like we are starting the AnnaJoTalks Work Life for Badasses. And Susan Vernicek is my special guest. So she is my first guest on this podcast, which I am investing my time, my heart, my beliefs. You're going to be so much, here to share with you, all listeners out there in the world. So having you as my first guest is just like touch my heart. So I appreciate that. But before you go, let's go for a fire chat kickstart thing, like
Okay.
quick questions. Let's go. Yes,
Let's
are you
go.
ready?
Yes,
Okay.
I'm ready.
All right. So, what is your superhero? Who is your superhero? Not is what? Who is
Okay.
your superhero?
So I have two superheroes. I've got my mom. She will always be my superhero because, long story, but growing up, my family was very dynamic, very diverse. We had alcohol abuse, verbal abuse, infidelity, murder, all the things growing up. My mom was the only silver anchor in our life. She took us to every sport. She did not go to college, and she worked her way up in her career. 30 years she stayed with the company. I mean, just mind-blowing. She's my superhero, and I just thank her for her strength because she showed us another positive, healthy, empowering side of living life. And I owe that to her. And my other superhero is Iron Man, which is my favorite superhero movie. And you know why I like Iron Man is because he got resourceful and he found his way out, and then he starts to save the world. And it's funny because when Iron Man was out in the movies, there used to be the gym. Well, I think that still exists, Retro Fitness, but they used to have a movie theater in their gym. And when I started to take ownership of my health and my life and lose the weight that I had put on from traveling the world, I would go to retro fitness. And that's the same time that I started my online magazine. I really started to transform everything in my life. And Iron Man was on the movie on the big screen, and I would run and I'd sprint on the treadmill, and it would like that movie just got me going and made me such a good
I love it.
runner. And like it, so those two,
Yeah.
those are my two superheroes.
I love it. I love it. And I think your mom, you could call her a badass mom as well.
Yeah,
right?
she
So
is. She's badass. She put up with a lot of crap. She's badass.
what is your favorite place?
You know,
To go.
my favorite place is on the mountain skiing and snowboarding with my family.
Okay.
When the four of us go in the middle of winter, when, you know, so many people are inside bored, and I'm so blessed that they love the mountain, and we love to be out when we're bundled up properly, because I don't like the cold, but we have fun on the mountain, and there's this different energy and family bonding and fun, and like you're one with nature. I love it.
And you have a place where you especially like, or it's mountain?
Well, I would say right now it would be the Shawnee Ski Mountain, because that's where I taught my kids,
Okay.
and that's where they're learning everything. And that was our first mountain as a family.
Okay. All right. So I know you love music and dancing. So what is your favorite music?
Okay, so I love everything. It's like my closet. I love every style of clothing. I love every genre of music except hardcore rap. But I'm going to share with you recently what gets me motivated is this DJ Eric Rhodes. And I discovered a new app called Mixcloud. And that's what he streams on. And he's like country and party, but he's mixes.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah.
And I think you would like it. The energy of it, it's like
I'm
a
gonna
party.
look
It's
after
like
that.
I'm in a club. And so I've been running to him every morning, and I have been like just drooling over his music.
I love it. This is always, good tips.
Yeah.
Favorite book?
Oh, The Slight Edge.
Oh, okay. Who's the
Right.
author?
It's somewhere on this bookshelf, but that changed my consistency.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And consistency creates your results and creates the impact that compounds everyday effort. And that book, it just was game changer for me.
Slight Edge. Okay. Okay. All right. Favorite dessert?
Chocolate, anything chocolate. Anything chocolate.
And with that, thank you so much, Susan. Please
Thank you.
share with all the listeners where they can find you, or something else that you want to share, what's going on in your life for us to connect with you. Please share here with, and we'll be on the notes as well of the show.
Okay. So thank you so much for having me. This was so much fun. It's funny because my daughter's giving me the eye. She's like, we got to go to soccer. And we have time. But the most direct is just to visit SusanVernicek.com. On there, you're going to find everything: the podcast, the magazine, my books, social media links, all of that. So that's the most direct place, is SusanVernicek.com.
Okay. We posted here that on the notes for this show.
Awesome.
And thank you so much, because
Thank you.
now just to say goodbye here to our listeners, thank you for tuning in to AnnaJoTalks Work Life for Badasses. I hope this episode has inspired you with our special guest, Susan Vernicek. And I hope you live your life on your own terms. Until next time, remember, you are powerful, you are capable, and you can do hard things. See ya!
You've been listening to AnnaJoTalks Work Life for Badasses with your host, Coach Annajo. To learn more about Coach Annajo, her blogs, and her coaching programs on how to achieve the work-life harmony you deserve, head on over to AnnaJoTalks.com. Make sure to follow Coach Annajo at Coach Annajo on all social media platforms. And don't forget to subscribe and listen to all of the AnnaJoTalks episodes on Apple, Google, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your podcasts. AnnaJoTalks Work Life for Badasses was produced by Thrive Loud Productions. Thanks for listening.